It's late October, almost Halloween. Is it too late, or is it like I could scramble and do okay now?
So you buy two of the X product and you get two for free. And like
Oh, that's brilliant.
it's just amazing margin for them because there's nothing being discounted. And she said that on Black Friday they sent 30 campaigns just on Black Friday.
Welcome back to the Unofficial Shopify Podcast. I'm your host, Kurt Elster. Today, we are discussing email. Well, all right, not just email, Black Friday email strategy, Q4 email strategy. Black Friday's almost here, right around the corner. I have a guest today who is going to walk us through a email strategy, tactics, tips, and he's a good person to do it because he has sent 500 million, 500 million emails just this year for his clients through Bedford Marketing. Joining us is Filip Pejic. Phil, how you doing?
Hey Kurt, doing well. Thanks so much for having me. Big fan of the pod. Excited to be here.
I'm happy to have you because when we talked before, I got in the pre-interview, I got excited about a lot of the advice, your opinions, tips, experience with email. That's always a good sign. So I want to go over that with you today. Well, okay, it's late October, almost Halloween when this is published. Is it too late, or is it like I could scramble and do okay now? Give me hope.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're kind of like a brand that's just figuring it out or super early days, and you're looking at the holidays, I don't think it's too late. I think it's always worth kind of tempering your expectations as to what you're going to get out of Black Friday, but it's always good to kind of go into it and say, hey, let's see what we can do this year. Let's test, let's learn, so that the years that come after, because many more will come, that you're even more prepared in the future. So I wouldn't say it's too late. I would say depending on your brand size and scale and what you're trying to accomplish, from an offer or new arrival standpoint, that you kind of set out, hey, let's try these few things this year. Let's put kind of a simple calendar in place and let's try to execute on it, and keep it simple. And I'm sure you'll be fine.
I like keep it simple. What I don't want is we go, "Hey, here's a million like advanced tactics you could do," and then people get overwhelmed and do nothing, right? Do nothing is the only bad option here. Sending anything is better than nothing, most likely. So, I want to know, well, what tools do you use? I assume that most of these folks are Shopify Klaviyo.
Yeah, for the most part, we've got clients on Shopify, Klaviyo. We've got a few clients that are working with Attentives, Postscripts, Yotpos of the world, and a few others. But I would say like the lion's share is kind of like a Klaviyo Shopify stack for email and e-commerce, and then SMS is a little bit all over the place.
So you told me when we talked earlier that a lot of brands can really hit their Q4 goals in the first half of November before we even reach Black Friday. Explain this magic.
I think it's super realistic, for some brands. It's obviously not going to be every brand that can kind of hit like whatever their goals set out, because it's obviously a factor of what you say your goals to. But from my experience, most brands are not being aggressive enough earlier on in November. They kind of see Black Friday as the only moment to go aggressive with marketing, go aggressive with email, update the banners on the site. But more and more over the last few years, you've seen, anywhere from smaller brands to the most sophisticated brands. Basically, the second Halloween ends, that next day is holiday season. And I'm even seeing this year a lot of brands are kind of treating Halloween as the early holidays, which is super interesting. And so when we work with brands, what we've uncovered is, hey, when we set up a proper strategy in place that's differentiated from BFCM, focusing just on early November, for a lot of brands, we can kind of hit those initial targets that they might have had for Black Friday and that period after Black Friday. We can get a lot of that revenue very early on, take a lot of their customers kind of out of the funnel early on, and then kind of build a whole nother layer of revenue going into BFCM. And it's also nice because they'll get the revenue earlier on, so they can reinvest that directly into the holiday period.
So I'm wrong if I'm thinking all of my emails and my sends happen on just Black Friday or like that week. It's really, I believe you break November up into three separate periods.
So for the most part, the way I look at it with brands is there's like 2, 3 weeks before Black Friday. We look at that as kind of one period. We look at the week leading up to Black Friday, and maybe a few days like that weekend and that week leading up to Black Friday as one period. And then we have kind of the up until shipping deadlines. So it's like December 1st or December 2nd, all the way until shipping deadline. I kind of look at it as like 3 sprints, and we work with brands within each of those to figure out what's the right promotional cadence, what's the right like new arrival cadence, and just email cadence in general. And I look at each of those as separate time periods. And then within Black Friday, we also look at that in its own little universe. But that's how we approach it at our agency with our clients.
You touched on it a little bit. I want to understand content mix. How much of this is promo versus non-promo? What are we actually sending here?
I guess we can go deeper into this, but every brand we work with will kind of start off the conversation of what's coming in the brand, like what is new. Because at the end of the day, like everybody wants to make kind of sell new arrivals and sell out limited edition new products that are obviously high margin. So we'll always start with that. We'll look at what's an actual like blockbuster new arrival in the sense of when we drop this, are people going to go crazy and buy this? The best brands are building new arrivals around the holiday in that way. So we'll first layer those into the calendar. From there, we'll look at what their promotional strategy is in general, and we'll look at week by week what can we be doing that's interesting around their best sellers, around things that maybe they're trying to stock out of that they have too much inventory on, or they just want to lower inventory from a cash flow standpoint on things, and then just like general sales and like special days throughout the month that we want to hit on. So we'll look at it from a promotional angle. And then the last piece is like, hey, we've kind of built up the calendar from a promo and new arrival standpoint. Is there anything else? Is there like gift guides or any other kind of types of content that we want to build in on top of that? And that's basically like the bottom up approach of like how we build out a calendar. So it's less about like, hey, let's get a 30 like three-way split, like perfect 33% split across the three promo, new arrival, and non-email promotional content, sorry, non-promotional email content. It's much more about like what do we have and like let's build onto it from like a profit first standpoint and then kind of set the calendar that way.
Let's walk through. I want to walk through an example for a brand. Do you have any hobbies? Do you have a brand you like that's not a client that you're familiar with?
I'm trying to think. We could talk about like from a basketball. I play basketball a lot. What's that brand? Victory. I forgot how to say their name. They do like the shoe insoles for like it makes you jump higher. I think
Oh, it's Victory.
Victory. Okay, that makes more sense. There we go.
It's Victory, and then they took out the vowels and used a K. Okay, great. I like it. Victory. We're gonna brainstorm a campaign here. What is our and we're gonna do November. What's it look like? We're gonna start with assume an early bird sale right after Halloween.
The first thing, like before we even hit sales, I'm looking at like what's new. I'm assuming Victory is like iterating their product. What I'm willing to bet with a product like this, because it's all about, I'm just looking at their site really quickly, but it's about like jumping higher performance. I'm willing to assume like a lot of like parents buy this for their kids. So it's probably a really awesome holiday gift because kids want to be better at sports. They want to be like the superstars in basketball, do the highlights the same way. So I could see gifting being a big thing, and so this season's probably like they probably crush in this season. So I'm thinking like like new arrivals, like ideally they're launching like some upgraded version of their products, or they're launching some sort of maybe collaboration with NBA players or someone like that. That's definitely like what I want to layer on first, and just make sure like, hey, new colorways, holiday colorways, these are all like really awesome and like simple high margin emails that I want to see them sending. And let's just assume like those are all out of the way. I'm probably starting to look at like, okay, what's happening on a promotional standpoint. And feel free to cut me off here, but I would say to start, I definitely want in the first week to go after probably some of the higher AOV customers. What a lot of people don't think about when it comes to promotional planning is within each brand, you have different cohorts of spending. You have your higher end customers, your middle end customers, and your lower end customers. Your higher end customers, they want to spend, they can spend more money, they have more discretionary income to spend. Your middle tier, they're probably buying like your average, they're your AOV customers. And then you have kind of your lowest end customers. That's like your deal shopper. They'll always come and pick up the stuff that's 80% off or 70% off if you do that. So coming in early into the month, I'm probably looking at, okay, for a brand like this, how do I win over those like customers with bigger discretionary balances that want to like buy maybe multiple? So I'm probably exploring with them either some sort of interesting bundle offer or working around like buy one get ones or buy two get ones or whatever it is, I'll probably play around with that to start in like the first week. Um, Going into this, and maybe we'll just start with the buy one get one offer, buy one get one 70% off.
BOGO is BOGO kills. BOGO's so good. Like,
I love
especially for an
BOGOs.
apparel brand where you could do like, you sell socks, hats, like the t-shirts. If the unit economics make sense, BOGO's great. And even like buy two, get one's great. And in Shopify with automatic discounts, these aren't tough to do anymore.
100%. It's like Shopify has made it so easy, which is super awesome. And like, I look at like a lot of like the supplement brands, and they get a lot of hate in the ecom world, but I think they do a lot of things really brilliantly. And you look at some of them will do crazy offers like buy three supplements get like five free and like insane stuff like that. And they're not just doing it by accident, like it works. So when I see like crazy offers like that, I kind of try to scale it down a little bit and say like what's like an insane offer that actually could work within the scope of like brands I'm working with. So like we've got one brand this year we A/B tested earlier on the season, like a buy two get two. So you buy two of the X product and you get two for free. And like
Oh, that's brilliant.
it's just amazing margin for them because there's nothing being discounted. And it's basically buying two, whereas the AOV, like the average order size, is a one unit. So they're basically doubling their unit size, plus they're getting basically all that margin on the second SKU, and then they're giving up some margin on the third and fourth, but their like cost per unit is low enough where it's like totally upside for them. So
That's really
just
clever.
yeah, so if you're a brand like you said, and you haven't tested BOGOs, you should be testing BOGOs. But yeah, that's probably like my week one is, hey, let's test like a little flash sale. Like let's test like a 2-3 day BOGO offer. Let's try to take out some of those higher income people off.
Hold on, let's recap.
So let's like intersperse it. So like week one, let's do a new arrival and let's do the buy two get two offer to get like a little bit of both.
And then week 2, that's week 1, and then week 2, I'm flip-flopping it, I'm doing the same thing?
Yeah, so I'd like for a brand like this, let's launch like partner some sort of partnership. Like let's partner with the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers and the Miami Heat. Let's drop some like exclusive limited editions that are in like super tight inventory situations that we can kind of push and make feel special so that people feel like they got a deal that's not coming back later on in the month. And then let's once again let's try to get a different tier of customers into our into like the from a promotional standpoint. So maybe we could test like a more simple buy one get one, or even just like a spend tier offer. Spend whatever $100 get a free, spend 200 get two free, so that we kind of appeal to that customer who doesn't need four insoles. Maybe they just want one, and we can convince them to get two. Week three is like where we're starting to get like a little more juicy. I would say ideally like one of our best launches probably are not our the best, but if they have like let's say like a new like an upgraded version of their like insoles, like let's launch that the week before BFCM. And then let's also experiment with like that like lowest cohort of customer who we still haven't really spoken to. Let's exclude anybody who's purchased all throughout the month. Let's exclude some of our higher AOV customers who have purchased in the past, and let's like try to target the folks who have been discount shoppers over the last couple years, or who have never purchased, and let's do whatever we can to get them into let's get them out of the funnel, let's get them to buy some things. So that's where I'll do my like up to percentage off discounts, or some really cool like gift with purchase offer that's like
One of my
irresistible.
favorites, gift
Yeah,
with purchase.
exactly. Yeah,
Especially you said like, "Hey, if you've got like a limited edition thing, if you make the gift with purchase like some exclusive, that does really well." Let's keep walking through our example here. Black Friday rolls around. How many emails you send in? 5? 10?
I'll share like an interesting anecdote, which is I recently interviewed a candidate for a role, and I won't say too much about like what market she was in, like what country, but she basically like worked with like a Netflix equivalent. And she said that on Black Friday they sent 30 campaigns just on Black Friday with like insane levels of segmentation. But and that's really just to like illustrate at the scale that like Netflix is, where and this is just for one country that she was operating in. They have such a big list and like so many cohorts of users that it makes sense for them to spend the time building out 30 different email campaigns just for one day, because the ROI is I hope the ROI is there for them. So that's kind of like the perspective of like if you just like slide the scale to like the biggest possible list, like that's what like the really really sophisticated brands are doing is they're going really aggressive for Black Friday. I would say for us, like our like most aggressive brands, we're doing 5 emails on Black Friday. We're doing 3 on Cyber on like on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then anywhere from 3 to 5 on Cyber Monday as well. And the reason for that is like these are literally the biggest like the biggest spike days of the year, and we've tested this in past years of like sending more, and it always drives more revenue. And so 5 is like what we're doing now for most brands. I don't know, we might do a podcast next year and I might say, hey, like that wasn't enough. We're testing 7 now. But that's kind of what we're testing now is like if we push to 5, where does it land? And if you subscribe to like a lot of like the bigger apparel brands, a lot of the bigger homeware brands, gifting based brands, just watch what they do this year, and you'll probably be surprised by how many text messages and how many emails you get just in like a 24-hour span. But yeah, that's basically our approach.
But I agree with you. You know, the answer is send more, and you know, November, December is just a free for all on inboxes. But people still get nervous about it. They rightly want to protect their audience, and so what are the signals that they're going too far, that they're burning their list? And what metrics do we look out for? How do we help give people the tools to be confident in sending more email?
Yeah, for sure. I would say like first things first, the ROI needs to be there. If you look at last year, maybe you sent 2 emails, take a look like how much revenue those emails actually drive. And is there like a return on investment? Like if I pay my agency to make 3 more, will there be an ROI there? And that's the first question I would ask. From an actual like metric standpoint, I kind of see Black Friday as like multiple days in one. And so like you can break up Black Friday into 3 days, you could break it up into 5 day, like five, whatever, 3 to 4 hour increments. And people are behaving differently at every hour of the day. They're at work, they're at night shopping, they're doing late night before midnight urgency shopping. But the metrics I'm looking at least this year, is definitely like the normal metrics. So we're looking at opens, we're looking at clicks, we're looking at how much revenue. And then I'm also just looking at like Shopify. Like basically once that email sends out, it's got like a 1 or 2 hour half life until like your old news. Like people have already moved on to other things, and they're shopping they're shopping for other stuff. And so that's how we're approaching it. And from there we're able to assess like was it successful? Should we have sent more? Should we have sent less? We are keeping an eye on unsubscribe rates because that's probably what you're hinting at. I wouldn't say we've had like major unsubscribe issues, at least for most brands that we did like 3, 4, 5 in the past years. It's literally never been an issue where it's like, oh, we got a bunch of unsubscribes, like people hated us. And the reason for that is very simple: is you send good content. Black Friday is not an excuse to just send garbage to your like customers. It needs to be intentional. Like the content needs to be interesting, and every campaign should be either a build on the last one or it should be something different or unique.
So when when the dust settles, Cyber Monday rolls around, and then we're still going. It's like Black Friday, we're running our sale. Cyber Monday, we're running a sale. What are you looking at after the event when a client says, "How do we do?" Like, what are the metrics you point to say this did or didn't work?
So typically with clients, we'll look at like what their targets are as a total business and also for email coming in. We'll look at like how well did they sell through their like whatever hero products that they were looking to sell through. And then we'll look at like any tests that we did happen to run, any holdout testing. We'll try to see like, was that a good idea? Was that a bad idea? And then lastly, we'll look at just like list behavior. How engaged were people? Were they clicking? What got the most clicks? Black Friday obviously doesn't like the holidays doesn't stop at Black Friday. But that's usually a point where we assess like, okay, the next like 12, 14 days, do we feel good about what we're doing, or do we need to like make like an urgent correction of course?
Like, if I wanted to hire you to handle these things for me in the future, where do I go? Tell me where we could find you.
So bedfordmarketing.co. We've got a website. You can reach out. I have a Twitter account, Ball and Phil, Phil with an F. And then for those of you guys who are like not looking for an agency, but you love email and you're like, wow, I want to like hear everything. I want to like nerd out on this stuff. I actually have a like a newsletter, and maybe Kurt, you can just link it. It's like a beehive link, so it's kind of hard to type out. but if you can like
I'll
link
stick
it
it.
in the
Yeah, I'll put the stuff in the show notes.
But I go really deep into it, and like all the topics we talk about, like I nerd out very in depth, as you can probably tell. And so that's probably the best place to find me, honestly, if you want to hear me kind of rambling on Twitter or work with our agency, like more than happy to chat.
All right, I will include all that stuff in the show notes. Filip Pejic, Bedford Marketing, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kurt. Really appreciate it. Hope you have an awesome PFCM, everyone.